Okay, hello everybody. Happy Tuesday morning. I'm Sophie Alexander, owner and lead practitioner um, of the Nutritional Wellness Center. And I'm excited to be here with you today. Sorry that we were a little late coming on our planned Facebook Live today about immunity begins in the gut. We're just having some technical difficulties with all the new Facebook updates. But I am excited to be talking to you today about this topic because there has been, so much talk about the immunity and the immune system in general and how to boost the immune system. And I just want to clarify, kind of as I jump into this topic and how digestion fits into it. That the body doesn't have, quote unquote, an immune system so much as the body is an immune system and is an immune response. I mean, the body is an alliance of all these different systems that work together and are coordinated by the brain to respond to immune challenges. So it's a coordination of your thymus gland, which is in your chest, right behind your breastbone. It's a coordination with your spleen, with your long bones, your stomach, and your intestinal flora, and so and your liver as well. So I'm going to be focusing today on digestive health and gut health and how that plays a role in immunity, and because you might have heard this statement that I know I've said on previous Facebook Lives and things like that, and that 70 to 80% of the immune system is in our digestive tract. And so, hi Josie, glad you and Adrian found me. And so your digestive tract, it is your core. I consider it a foundation. I mean, I know I'm biased as a work with as a nutritionist, and that I see so much of health tie back to the health of the digestive tract. But I really want to give you greater understanding today about what a role it plays in your overall immunity and immune response. So your intestines, this is particularly, I'm talking more right now about the small intestines, they possess the largest mass of lymphoid tissues in the body, which is called the GALT, capital G-A-L-T, which stands for gut-associated lymphoid tissue. And so this, let me just make sure I'm scrolling with my remarks so I'm seeing comments and questions. Great. So this lymphoid tissue is made up of several different kinds of tissue that store immune cells, such as your T and B lymphocytes, and they attack and defend against pathogens, right? But what can happen, and what is so common with kind of standard American diet and foods and toxicity exposures that we experience living in the United States, is that there's a lot of inflammation and damage that happens in the small intestine. So foods such as sugar and fast foods, processed foods, preservatives on foods, and different food chemicals that are used, alcohol, bad fats, all contribute to inflammation and damage of the small intestine, and then also a lot of chemicals, medications, things that are used regularly, such as antacids and aspirins, ibuprofen, antibiotics, and medications, all contribute to the damage of the epithelial cells, which are these really thin, one layer of cells that go along the lining of our small intestines. And when these guys get damaged, they have lots of little hairs along them, little microvilli. And when they get damaged, two big things happen, two really important things happen. Number one, you have a reduced absorption of nutrients. So especially your vitamins A and D, which I know in previous Facebook Lives where I've talked about what you need to have healthy immune response. A and D play a huge role, particularly in the viral response. So they're very important for immunity. So if you have a decreased absorption of those, that's absolutely going to affect your overall immune health. And then also when there's damage to those epithelial cells, they are then that part of the intestinal lining is less able to prevent the passage of larger molecules of proteins and fats and glucose and pathogens and toxins into the bloodstream. So you might have heard the term of leaky gut syndrome, and that's what I'm basically referring to right now, is that there become gaps between the epithelial cells that aren't supposed to be there, and these larger molecules pass through, they're in the bloodstream, and they start engaging with this GALT tissue, right, that I was talking about, the gut-associated lymphoid tissue. So the immune system reacts to these foreign invaders. They're not supposed to be in there, and they're supposed to be broken down more and filtered more before they interact with those tissues. And so this can play a big role in the development of food sensitivities, in overall allergies and reactivity, environmental allergies. But it can play a big role in chronic ear infections and the development of autoimmune disease. And so we're really talking about how with the immune system, this factor of the immune system that's taking place in the gut with this lymphatic tissue is overengaged with all these things that it shouldn't be having to address. Another big way that our digestive tract plays a role in our immune health is with our gut flora that is in our large intestine. So our large intestine is home to more bacteria and yeast than the number of cells that we actually even have in our bodies that make up our bodies. So it's a very symbiotic relationship. Oh, hi, Wendy. I'm glad you found us and joined us. So it's a symbiotic relationship between us and our flora that live in our intestines. And we want to take really good care of them. It's very important that there is a specific balance and a healthy balance. And because they work hard, the bacteria in our large intestine, to keep unwanted and harmful bacteria and yeast in check. So, that list of foods that I said earlier that damage the lining of the intestinal tract, well, it for sure contributes to throwing off the balance of the good and bad bacteria in our intestinal tract, specifically, the overuse of antibiotics as well. And I know I mentioned that earlier. And so, these are ways that this very vital role that digestion plays in our overall health and then plays in our immune health gets thrown off. So instead of focusing on how easy it is to get it thrown off, I thought I'd talk for a while about what we can do about it, right? How we can change it around, how we can improve that overall health. I'm gonna just grab a paper here. But a huge first step that we can do is we can work to, of course, avoid the sugars and the processed foods and the fast foods and the toxic fats and the preservatives, the food chemicals that I was saying before, and really working to eat, fresh, what we call fresh whole food diet. No, I'm not sure what happened. I want to stay on this page. All right. I don't know. Oh dear, something happened. Don't know if I'm still recording here, so I apologize about that, everybody, because right now I've got a screen that said something went wrong and they're having trouble playing my video. Okay, am I still here? Is it still recording?
You were.
I am. Okay. All right. Yay. Thank you, Fabiola, for coming to my rescue. Oh my gosh. Me and technology. She's my technology guru. Okay. So where was I? I'm still alive. Thank you, Wendy. All right. So I was starting to talk about the steps of what we can do, right? and avoiding all these things that are prevalent in our regular food supply. And so but then the proactive steps, things that heal, things that repair, and things that restore this balance that I'm talking about. Number one is bone broth. So bone broth is amazing in that it really helps to repair the damage that happens in the intestinal lining. And so it's very high in vitamins and minerals and in collagen and gelatin. And that works to repair all those epithelial cells I was talking about getting damaged and becoming leaky. So with bone broth, literally I'm talking about boiling bones for 24 to 36 hours. You can add some raw apple cider vinegar to that to help even pull more minerals out into the broth. And using that as a base for soups, stews, even just drinking a mug of it like you would a cup of tea. And the more I find that people get in of the bone broth, then the more digestive repair that happens. It is some clients, it's not their favorite thing to do. They're not a big soup and stew fan. They don't like to have it as a cup of tea, understood. And so what I have found works really well in clinical practice is having people use collagen powder instead. And so collagen powder is where we take the gelatin that's harvested from the hides of grass-fed cows, right? This is the brand that I carry in the office is called Vital Proteins, collagen peptides. And so for this company, they harvest gelatin from the hides of grass-fed cows, and they turn that into a tasteless, odorless powder that so it no longer is gelatinous, and this is collagen. And collagen, it feeds our, I say it's a set of amino acids, so it's a set of proteins, and it's more uncommon proteins than people get on a regular basis because we are so used to consuming muscle meat, right? Is instead of eating the whole animal and cooking the whole parts of the animal. And so the collagen powder is a nice way to get these diversity of amino acids. And these amino acids nourish our skin, our hair, our nails, and as I was saying, the epithelial cells in our gut. And what I like about it is it's easy to mix into coffee, easy to mix into tea, put in smoothies. You could throw it in your oatmeal in the morning. There are ways to hide it very easily in food, but you're getting all those benefits of that you would be getting, some of the benefits you would be getting if you were consuming bone broth regularly. And you also, number two step after bone broth and collagen is to balance intestinal flora by adding in the good bacteria, right? So eating your fermented foods, which keep repopulating the gut with good and helping then for the body to clear out what shouldn't be in there. So there are a whole variety of different fermented foods. You can do yogurt, as long as it's organic and full fat and plain. Otherwise, there's a lot of added sugar. Or you could do, if you're not going to do dairy, you can do coconut yogurts as well. And sauerkraut is one of my favorites. I really push people towards the fermented veggies. So that can be any vegetable can be fermented in this way. It's just salt and water. So here in our local stores, there's great sauerkrauts, there's great pickles, there's fermented beets and carrots and green beans, actually. So there's just a whole diversity of veggies, and a little goes a long way. So it's used as a condiment. But ideally, you're getting some in every day as a condiment. So kimchi is another example of this. It's spicier. And then there are some drinks as well. Like you can drink plain kefir, or there are products like kefir water, kombucha, and kvass. And one of my favorites personally is kvass. It's a fermented beet drink. And I find that it's wonderful for probiotics and also wonderful for the liver because of the beet component. And then number 3, we want to repair the intestinal lining and feed these good bacteria that we're now putting into the body by getting in plenty of fiber. And I find that across the board, my clients really struggle to get in enough fiber because it's primarily from eating a diversity of vegetables. And many of us just don't eat enough of them. Could always eat more. I wanted to give a couple examples of fiber-rich veggies, just so next time you're shopping, you could look for them. Getting into asparagus season, I'm excited. I grow asparagus at home, and I just saw some little tiny heads starting to come up. So asparagus is a good option. Romaine lettuce, apples, strawberries, cucumbers, tomatoes, broccoli, kale. And almonds actually too are another food that is high in fiber. But really it's a good thing to be always looking at when you're planning out your meals and your snacks and just challenging yourself, where can I get in more whole vegetables and thus more fiber. Of course, I use and try to do as much as possible through diet with my work with clients. But I do find that there are times when it's, per the individual, more is needed. And so, especially with folks struggling to get enough fiber into their diet, there is a powder that I carry called whole food fiber from Standard Process, which is great to add to smoothies or again, you can mix it into oatmeal. Talking about oatmeal a lot this morning, another source of fiber. But it works well to hide it into foods, and it really gives that boost because, gosh, if you're ever looking at it in amount of grams, really we want to be getting over 30 grams of fiber a day, and most people don't even touch that. And I have, work with several products too that help to repopulate the gut with good bacteria. And really, when I was thinking today about doing this Facebook Live, I was like, all right, there's not a whole lot of supplement advice that I feel comfortable giving without specifying it to the individual. But I do want to share that, especially if you have to have antibiotics for whatever reason, I do find that it is really helpful to then repopulate with a supplement as well as with diet, just because so much is needed to really get the gut back on track. And ProSymbiotic from Standard Process is one of my favorites. I find that with the nutrition response testing across the board, it does really well and tests really well for people post antibiotics. And it has some prebiotic and probiotics in it, so it really works to feed and nourish the good bugs, the good probiotics that it's putting back into the system. But in general, when it comes to gut health, and improving it, the foundation is, getting good, healthy, whole foods into the diet, and then also figuring out for the individual how did the damage occur and what's needed to repair it. And this is setting the foundation for having a healthy immune response and a correct immune response. So if you are struggling at all with your own immunity, and especially if you have digestive clues going on, whether it's bloating or gassiness or diarrhea or constipation, this is a really important time. You can reach out to me. I am available virtually, taking new clients and doing nutritional coaching to really work on what's going on for you and getting it back on track. So I'll hang out for just a little bit here if anyone has any questions or anything that they want to ask me about this in general. I miss seeing my clients face to face. It's different for me. Talking and doing virtual. Well, when I'm doing virtual, I do get to see some faces, but doing a lot of my consults over the phone. And so I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions for me. If you don't worry. Or you can always post it in the comments and we will respond later. And then if anyone just wants to share their picture, or take a selfie, yeah, it'd be lovely to see you. Oh, hi, Eileen. Yeah, I miss you too. Yeah. And all right, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this helpful. I will definitely be doing more about just all these different facets that build our immunity and build our response, because it's just such a key thing right now in terms of how we can all stay healthy um, with COVID-19 going on. And so, all right, all my best to you all. Take care. Bye.